All eyes on the way I vibe when I walk into the room. Wind blows underneath the soles of my brand new pair of shoes.
All right, welcome to the Cold Calling Podcast Live, where we link live cold calls. Session is brought to you by MonsterConnect, where you can have 10 times as many conversations as you normally do when making cold calls. I got my man Aaron here with me today. Aaron, why don't you just give folks a little bit of background on yourself, who you are, where you work, what you do, and who you're going to be calling on today.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks for having me. My name's Aaron. I work at Catalyst Software. If you haven't heard of us or seen our memes on LinkedIn, we're a customer success tool that helps teams capture revenue from their existing customers. And outside of work, I love yoga, hiking, nature, travel.
Nice. Awesome. Thanks, man. So what makes you qualified to be making live cold calls today?
I guess we'll find out. Cold calling, cold calling for me is very triggering, but it's kind of fun, and it forces you to do things that are naturally uncomfortable as a human, which is just like a philosophy I like to live by, like in general in life, like beyond cold calling and sales.
Yeah, I mean, I think that a lot of people tend to shy away from cold calls for whatever reason. Phone reluctance is a real thing.
Yeah.
But if you have good data, good process, good tech in place, cold calling can still be very effective in your top of funnel of your sales process. So if you haven't checked out the Cold Calling Podcast, now is a good time to do that. Go ahead and check out the Cold Calling Podcast on every podcast platform available out there. And go ahead and subscribe, where they drop daily content of the best moments from these sessions. And also occasionally we share the other side of the conversations as well, which people are always super curious to see what the other people on the other side of the phone are saying. So check out the Cold Calling Podcast, brought to you by MonsterConnect. We're going to go ahead and get clicked in. I'm going to get clicked into MonsterConnect here. Aaron, who are you going to be calling today? Who do you have loaded up in your list?
I'm going to be calling a bunch of customer success leaders. So directors of customer success, managers, maybe a CRO or two. And I'm telling you, they're just going to be very excited to have me calling them on a Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah, of course. Why wouldn't they be? They're probably sitting around just waiting for you to call.
I think so. I think it's on their calendar. I mean, I don't have access to it, but I'd imagine Aaron's cold call is somewhere on their list.
Yeah. All right. So let's get into it. Thanks everybody who's joining us. Go ahead and drop some comments in there. Give us some feedback. Give us a hard time, whatever. We'll take it all. All right. So I'm going to be calling on SVPs and CROs on behalf of Humantic. And I'm just going to get my list loaded up here.
Welcome to MonsterConnect. Hello, Collin. Please stay on the line. Your call may be monitored or recorded.
All right. And I'm going to update my settings here. So do you, what type of opener do you like to use on your cold calls?
I keep it simple. Hey, it's Aaron from Catalyst. And they'll be like, oh my God, what? I'm like, yeah, I know you weren't expecting my call. Can I just get like 10 seconds? And then that usually lets me just get to the point where I'm pitching.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, I use a permission-based opener myself for the most part. Some variation of a permission-based, but like they're the first thing people are thinking when you're calling them is like,
hey,
who is
good
this?
afternoon. It's Aaron from Catalyst. How are you, Vlado?
Did you get a hang up there?
Yeah.
Oh man, you got to call those back.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Double tap. Come on, man. Hey, Jason, this is Collin with Humantic. This is actually my first time giving you a call here, but do you have like half a minute? And oh, he hung up on me too. I'm definitely calling him back. Hey, Jason, this is Collin with Humantic. Just called you a second ago there. Looks like I lost you. This is a cold call. Do you have like half a minute and I can tell you exactly why I decided to pick up the phone and reach out to you today? Y- Yeah, this is definitely a business call. So happy to call you back at a better time if that's the case. All right. Off to a good start.
It only goes up from here.
Yeah. Voice. All right. Disposition that and get going. Yeah, man. When they hang up on your opener, you got to call them back. Double
I like
tap on
that.
that.
Yeah. Did he answer again?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he told me to F off, but no, I'm just kidding. He said, I'm busy. I'm in a meeting, which always kills me because it's like I've never answered a cold call in a meeting. But that one still, comes up all the time.
Yeah, when they say that, I'm like, what kind of a meeting are you in? Like, if you're, I mean, we're here now. Like, you can,
Yeah. Jennifer says, what's your spiel to get past the gatekeeper? Well, that's a great question, Jennifer. She's asking how we get past the gatekeeper. So two-part answer for me. One, I don't call gatekeepers. So I'm mostly calling direct dial mobile numbers. I would say is like 90% of what I call. But also using something like MonsterConnect allows you to not have to deal with gatekeepers. So there's a real human on the other end here making these dials to navigate phone trees, gatekeepers, and all those sort of things so that I don't have to. So that when the person I want to talk to is on the phone, then I just get a beep in my ear and I can get right into it. But let's assume we did have to deal with a gatekeeper. Aaron, any tips for getting around the gatekeeper?
Yeah, I'm with you. I personally never call gatekeepers, but to answer the question and maybe give some advice, if I was calling a gatekeeper, just be friendly, hone in on energy, be honest, and then just at the very least have them feel comfortable letting whoever you're trying to get in touch with know that, hey, Jennifer is going to shoot you an email. That's what I'll do, just so at least they'll defer their attention to the email.
Yeah. I mean, funny thing is, it's been so long since I've had to call the gatekeeper, but from back in my days of calling gatekeepers, I have to agree with some of those tips there that Aaron gave. Being honest, matching tone, stuff like that. But ultimately, a trick that you can use for gatekeepers is like, let's say I'm calling into Aaron and Aaron's a gatekeeper. You can say, "Hey, Aaron, I was hoping you could help me out." And if you ask it like that way, most people are generally good people and like to help you out, and you have a better chance of getting through if you approach it like that. Where people go wrong is they try this like passive aggressive or try to like bully through the gatekeeper, and that's where things are going to go wrong, and they're just going to block you forever. Do you typically like when you're calling your list and you get a pickup, do you pull up their LinkedIn profile? Do you have any like specific notes that you're referring to? Anything you do to like sort of customize how you show up on that call?
Their LinkedIn will open up automatically. I think the biggest thing with personalizing for me is just like make sure you have your account history in a place that's easily seeable. So if I call you and you pick up, I should know really quickly if I've spoken to you before. And if I have, I should know the context.
Yeah, exactly. Which is kind of another good point is like always make sure. Oh, hey, Claude, this is Collin with you. Yeah, This is Collin with Humantic. It's a cold call. It's my first time giving you a call here, but do you have like 30 seconds and I can tell you exactly why I reached out to you today? Sounds like I caught you at a bad time. Yeah, no problem. Hey, I can try you back at a better time. So I was a little slow to the draw there. I don't recommend cold calling while live streaming at home. It can be dangerous. So that call went terrible because I was a little slow to the draw on my opener. But to Aaron's point is like take really good notes, right? You should know if you called, if you sent an email, if there's any other touch points, anything relevant to recapture that conversation. So you're not like starting back at ground zero every time you call them.
What did that prospect say? He was just like, bad time, call later, or like he just ripped you?
It was like, who is this? Like, it was like super delayed. Cause one of the things you have to understand is like when you're using, something like MonsterConnect is like that phone's already been answered. He's already said hello. So like for people who are not used to using something like that, you have to get right into it. And even like a split second delay, is a lot of dead air and can just kind of ruin the energy and the flow of the call. So that's what happened there, which happens from time to time, especially if you like, are sitting on the line and you start like multitasking or live streaming or, stuff like that. So he's like, I'm just super busy. I don't have time for this. Call me back.
Yeah, certainly keeps you on your toes.
Yeah. All right. So we've got lots of comments here. Thank you, Francine, for joining. Benjamin's got some feedback for you here, Aaron.
Oh, Benjamin is a childhood really good friend, best pal.
Nice. Benjamin said I manage sales floor 28 and constantly testing the opening lines.
Good afternoon, Susan. It's Aaron from Catalyst. How are you? I am good. This is a cold call. I was hoping to just get a few seconds, let you know why I'm reaching out, and you could let me know where to go from there. A few seconds is all it takes. I talk really, really fast, Susan. Don't worry. So if you haven't heard of Catalyst, other CS leaders use us to identify renewals and upsells. So just wanted to get a sense for what kinds of tools you're using to help you with that. Totally. I'll make a note so you don't get another call back. Just for my notes, are you using any tools to help you with that? Totally. I'll jot all that down. The reason I'm asking is when other folks mention they're using Salesforce, like I use Salesforce. Gotcha. Nope, you're not being rude at all. I'll make a note and add you to the do not call list. Have a great day. Bye.
What was the pushback there?
She was, oh, so you couldn't hear what she was saying, right?
No, we can't hear the other side. We only.
Oh yeah. She was saying, I know you're doing your job. She mentioned that they're using Salesforce, and she told me off the bat to take me off her list. But then after she said, take me off the list, I'm like, hey, I'll take you off the list. But like, while I have you for my notes internally, just tell me what you're using. And then she mentioned she's using like a semi-competitive workflow. So at least I got some intel.
Yeah. Might be time for me to get a new list in here. This one's been ran through a few times.
You normally call like in your house by yourself, or you do a lot of your cold calls like in these settings with other people? Like,
Well, I do this weekly, and then have like a daily call blitz with my team as well. So yeah, and then this is more just phone specific, right? But then there's also like call steps that come up in sequence and stuff like that as well. So the phone is still a very powerful tool. I don't know why people don't like. There's still a lot of teams that don't use it nearly as much as they should. But definitely.
what do you think?
Hey, Anthony, this is Collin with Humantic. First time giving you a call here, but do you have like half a minute, and I can tell you exactly why I decided to reach out to you today? Yeah. Okay, you got it. Should I go ahead and send you an invite for that time? Is like maybe. All right, take care. Yeah, you always get the prospect that gets pissy that you called their cell, which happens from time to time. But I'd still rather have many more conversations than not be calling mobile any day of the week.
Yeah, for sure.
Call back.
Wait, I'm curious from your. Why do you think that like most teams, like you mentioned, are resistant to calling or don't call as much?
Because people are scared to get their teeth kicked in, as you do. I mean, even if you're great at cold calling, like you're still going to deal with a lot of rejection, and it can wear on you. But the more often the catch there is the more often you do it, then the less it phases you.
Yeah, it's true.
And also people just don't. You got to get it out of the way, right? Cold calling should be like your cold calling block should be one of the first things you do. Maybe not the very first thing you do in your day, but one of the first things.
How come?
Because it's one of the harder tasks, right? It's the thing that, it's like the same idea of why most people get their workout done in the morning, right? There's just too many things that come up and too many excuses you could make up to not do it or not go.
Fair enough.
Right.
So did that one convert? The one that you just had that said send times?
No, he said, I'm on PTO. You're calling my cell phone. Call me back next week. I was going to try to squeeze it into a meeting, but
yeah, those are great. They have a funny notion. They have a funny attendance rate sometimes, but like the ones that
yeah, the show rate. I mean, the drop off rate is definitely higher than like a meeting,
yeah.
But like if you can sneak on somebody's calendar, I've even seen people use the strategy of like just blind invites, which I never get that concept. People swear that they work, but I've never done them, and people have done it to me before, and it kind of pisses me off.
I've never tried that, but it's so fascinating. The people that have tried it on you, was it like completely cold or like there was some context?
Pretty cold, yeah. Like sent me an email with some info, and then like, hey, I sent you an invite for this date. Let me know if that works or if we
and
need
no
to
previous
reschedule.
engagement. Like you didn't know them before that.
No. It's like a step in their sequence. Send blind invite.
Assuming you didn't show up.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's just kind of a numbers game, right? If you do it enough times, some people end up just showing up, especially like busy people where they're just like, getting invites, calendars are full. Like I'm sure to some extent it probably works. Personally, I'm not a fan of that tactic.
Me neither. It just feels sleazy. And it's also like you're going to burn bridges. Like that's going to be like, you're definitely going to burn bridges. Do I get like a gift card if I book more meetings than you on this podcast?
I mean, yeah, if you can, man, we're both big fat zeros right now. So we're both going to be first place losers if we
Yeah.
don't get it together. If we don't get it together here. All right, let's see what you guys. Hey, Haley, this is. I got one of those voicemails that tricks you and thinks that they picked up. Those used to be really big a while back, but I don't get them as often. But every once in a while, you get one of those voicemails where somebody kind of pretends like they've answered the phone.
Yeah, I just got one of those too.
Man, come on. Gotta get some conversations going here. Right.
You have an office that you go to, or you just do everything virtual?
Hey, Sean, this is Collin with Humantic. This is my first time actually giving you a call here. It's a cold call. But do you have like 30 seconds? And I can tell you exactly why I decided to pick up the phone and cold call you today. Yeah. So reason I'm reaching out, I see you're the VP of sales there. Really just calling to introduce my
Gavin,
company.
it's Aaron from Catalyst.
Calling you out of the
How's
blue.
It going?
But want to make sure it's relevant. Have you ever heard
I
of
am good.
Humantic?
I know I'm kind of
before,
catching
by
you in the
chance?
middle of your day. Can I just get a few seconds, let you know why I'm reaching out?
Yeah, so I'm just curious, your team when they're reaching out to folks,
I
kind of like I
appreciate it.
am right
I
now
hope
for
you
the
don't
first time,
regret it.
or maybe
Just a few seconds.
in-person meeting or Zoom
I'm not
meeting.
sure if you've heard of
Do they have some
Catalyst, but
process
other
in place for
customer success
researching those
leaders use
people,
us
getting
to
to know
help
them
them
a bit better
identify
before interacting
renewals
with
and
them?
upsells. So I was just curious what tools you're using for that at the moment.
Great. And then this is not like a trick question or anything like that, but do you have anything placed so that, other than Sales Navigator, where they can start to understand the person, their personality, how to build a winning connection, what matters most to them, anything like that in place today? Yeah. Yeah. Well, surprise, surprise. That's exactly what we do here at
Gotcha,
Humantic.
definitely.
So
And it sounds like
we provide
you've
personality
been
insights in your
using
prospects.
Salesforce
Some of the
before.
results that
The
sales
way you were
leaders are seeing
talking
is a
about it, I'm like, yeah, that doesn't sound
256%
super
increase
fun.
on response rates. And then also a 6.2% increase on close rates, even on their lowest performing reps.
Yeah,
Would it
no
be a
worries.
terrible
I hear
idea
you.
for you and I to
Can I
grab
make a
15
suggestion and
minutes
let you
and I
know,
can show
like a
you how other sales
conversation I
leaders are
had just last
leveraging
week with someone in a
the
similar
personality
situation?
insights that Humantic provides?
So they have also used CS software before. They've purchased and implemented it, but given, the economy, their leadership was also telling them to just kind of stick with Salesforce. And what we have now is a meeting scheduled. I'm bringing on like one of our senior sellers who helps teams like build use cases specifically for the situation. So I'm not sure if that's of interest, just like a few minutes. We can have a chat, share some like ROI.
Why don't I send you some information, give you
you go to
like
leadership,
bit of a more
just to
idea
get a
of
seat at the
what it is
table,
that I'm talking
even
about
if it's
here.
for like
that
2 or 3 months from now, like
and then
getting
can we
budget
grab
for
a
these
time
things is
for
always
say
like a war
the
between
5th
departments.
of April that would work for you? Your central time zone, right? All right.
Awesome.
So
that sounds good. I'll make a note on my calendar.
All right,
No
so
problem.
I'll
Take
send you a bit of information so you have an idea a little bit more about what Humantic does, and then I'll send you an invite for 2:00 on the 5th, 2:00 Central. Awesome. Thanks for your time, Sean. Appreciate it. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bang. Did you just get one?
Boom.
Nice.
2 p.m. I mean, it's 3 weeks out, so never stoked when it's 3 weeks out, but understandable. He's like, dude, I'm not doing anything till end of quarter.
Yeah.
That is all right. Let me disposition. Pro tip here: always send your invites immediately after you book it. You just never know.
Yeah.
You want it while it's fresh in their mind. If you do it later, they may be like, "What the heck? Who is this guy? What is this?" Or somebody else could sneak on their calendar as well. It's sad. Okay. What happened on your call there? I had to mute myself briefly because we both had to connect at the same time.
Oh, I muted myself too. Look at us, overly considerate.
So it was just we were just street dead air.
Yeah. His leadership said they're not buying anything. He doesn't like the tool that they're being told to use. I pitched it as like, hey, let's just chat and help you build a use case to go to leadership with. He said he appreciates it, but nothing now. He was not interested, but like it could be something in like May.
You definitely when you get a meeting that's like 2-3 weeks out, you definitely got to get some good like nurture steps in there in between to help with that show rate.
What do you normally do?
I mean, I'll send them an email right now, send them a connection request, engage on LinkedIn, send a maybe one more email, and then definitely like a personalized video day or two before the meeting.
Got it.
The thing is, you want them to be excited, looking forward to the meeting. Create some intrigue.
Do you always do that stuff, or just if it's like relatively far out?
So I always send the personalized video a day or two before. If it's further out, I'll just put a few additional steps in there as well. Right. You dialing?
Yes, sir. Hey, good afternoon, Leia. It's Aaron calling from Catalyst. How are you? No worries at all. Is it a meeting you want to be in, or can I save you for a few seconds? Okay, cool. I'll shoot you an email. Take care. Bye.
I love that response.
You gotta try something with these meetings, man. She laughed and said, "No, I have to be here, but just send me an email." I'm like, "All right."
But you could have said, "Well, I totally understand that, but that wasn't the question. I get that you have to be there, but do you want to be there?"
Oh, that would have been next level. That would have been.
But it's all about how you say it, right?
Yeah.
You can't sound like some aggressive, pushy,
Oh, definitely not.
commission breath salesperson. But if you use the right tone there, I think you could pull it off.
Yeah, I agree. Um,
All right. I'm back in the saddle. Took me a minute to send that invite and update those notes. Gavin's joining us. Is that a haircut? Yeah, actually, it's not. It's thanks for noticing. Yeah, it's not a fresh haircut though. I actually went to go get a fresh haircut today, but my barber was closed. It's like, what the heck?
Posture. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a good call out. Dude, I'm working from home, so I don't have a I'm like looking down, crunching over.
Yeah. We've got to view up your nostrils. No, just kidding. Just like an angle up. It's a makeshift standing desk, Gavin. Come on.
Hey, Rochelle, it's a.
Call that back. Call it back. Double
I'm
tap.
going to. I will do just that. Inspired by you.
Don't be scared. They're going to pick up.
Hey, Courtney, I think we just got disconnected. This is Aaron from Catalyst. How are you? I am good. I was actually looking to speak with Rusheb over at Gorgias. Oh, no worries. Yeah, I think I got the wrong number. I'll make a note internally so I don't bug you again. I appreciate it.
Hey, Rich, this is Collin with Humantic. First time actually giving you a call here, but do you have like half a minute? And I can tell you exactly why I decided to pick up the phone and give you a call today. Yeah, reason I'm reaching out is really just to introduce my company to you when I'm not calling you out of the blue like I am today. But have you heard of Humantic before by chance? Got it. Definitely want to make sure that it's relevant. I see you're the VP of Global Sales and Marketing there. And I'm just curious, when your team is reaching out to prospects, kind of like I am today for the first time, or maybe meeting with them for the first time over Zoom or even in person, do they have anything in place for researching those folks, maybe using like Zoom Info, Sales Navigator? Yeah. Okay. Got it. So appreciate that. It happens from time to time, but appreciate your time either way. All right. Take care. That's an interesting one. I always find that happens with, that's another, there is, look, I'll call mobile numbers all day, every day. It's the best path. If you can get a good data source or two, most sales orgs are using at least like 2 data sources, I find these days to, get good coverage, specifically on direct dial and mobile. But there is 2 drawbacks to calling mobile. One, you do get people that get pissy when you call mobile, which happens. I would say 1 out of every 50 or so, you get somebody who's just like, you're calling my personal line. And how do you handle that? It's like, oh, I'm so sorry. This number I had, Aaron. Like, is there a better number that I should reach you at? They're usually like, oh no, and then they'll just let you get into it. The second thing that happens, look, I'm not entirely sure how they source these mobile numbers, like how these data providers do these. But occasionally you get somebody who's just like has the same exact name as the person that you're calling, but it's not the right person.
Yo, have you ever had a situation where you called someone and they told you they weren't the person you were looking for, but like intuitively you felt like they were the exact person you wanted?
Oh yeah, I've had that. I haven't had that happen in a long time.
So funny. Those are so awkward.
Yeah. What's even better is like if you've called them before and like, I don't know, they hung up or the call didn't go well, and then you call back another time and they're like, yeah, she's not here. And you're like, I know that voice. You got to just assume that you're talking to the person that you're supposed to and not ask. Number one, let them correct you. But where that happens a lot is if you're asking, like if you're speaking to that, like, oh, is this Aaron, or am I speaking with Aaron? Like some people will do that in a cold call, and that's like a perfect opportunity for somebody who doesn't want to deal with a cold call. Be like, oh no, Aaron's actually not here right now.
Yeah.
Oh, you got the wrong number. So if you beat me in meetings, we can probably get you a double tap
I'm gonna
T-shirt.
call back to my phone. Hello?
Hi. I just got a call from this number.
Hey, this is Dean, right?
Yeah.
Gotcha. I appreciate the call back. Usually I'm the one who has to be calling other folks. My name's Aaron. I'm calling from Catalyst. Does the name ring a bell for you at all, Dean?
No. Should I? Should it?
No worries. If you ask me, I'd say yes. You know, I've shot over a few emails, but I'm sure your inbox is flooded, which is why I figured I'd give a call. So other directors of customer success use Catalyst to help them identify upsells and renewals within their existing customer base. And I just wanted to get a sense for what tools you're using.
Before you launch into it, I was recently let go from Rapid.
Hey, Tim, this is Collin with Humantic. This is actually my first time giving you a call. But do you have like half a minute? I can tell you exactly why I decided to pick up the phone and cold call you today.
Well, I'm sorry to hear.
Yeah, I see that you're the
hope,
VP
the
of
job search is
Sales and
going well.
Business Development over there. Is that still accurate? Oh, okay. Did you
No worries.
move on
No,
to
I
a new
won't
role?
bother you with that, but it's very kind of you. I appreciate it.
Got it. Okay.
Thanks, you too. Bye.
Hey, you that was contagious, man. My call was same deal. No longer there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but unfortunately, getting a lot of those these days.
Yeah.
Gavin's giving you a bad time. Gavin's been on the show before.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong. He's calling it as he sees it. I appreciate you, Gavin. Come over here to New York and fix my posture. Fix my standing desk situation.
You got to get like the, Amazon boxes and then stack it on top and
you know what
get yourself proper.
How's that?
Boom, there you go.
Bam. Gavin, you inspired me. I'm balancing my laptop on a roll of paper towel.
Nice. Love the brick, the authentic brick wall there too.
Oh yeah, authentic. We got a nice plant that's growing nice and slow. Crystal action, branch, trees.
So we're about 40 minutes in. Oh, hey, Brett, this is Collin with Humantic. This is my first time giving you a call. But do you have about 30 seconds and I can tell you exactly why I decided to pick up the phone and cold call you today? Yeah, I see that you're the VP of sales there, and I definitely want to make sure this is relevant. And I'm really just calling to introduce my company to you. But have you heard of Humantic before, by chance? Got it. Well, let me make sure it's relevant, and then we can decide if it's worth spending any more time together. But your team, when they're reaching
Hey,
out to folks,
Ellison, it's
kind of like I
Aaron
am
calling
right
from
now for the
Catalyst.
first
How are
time,
you?
or maybe getting
I
on a meeting
am
with somebody for the
good.
first time. I'm sure they have something
Have
in
you heard of
process for
Catalyst software
researching
before?
those people. Maybe LinkedIn, Sales Navigator, Zoom Info, something like
Oh,
that.
you do?
Um, next,
Oh, that's
cool.
funny. I'm
Next
sorry
question
to
is
ring
not
you
a
on your cell
gotcha or
phone. I'm
trick
not
question or
sure
anything like that,
how
but do they
that
have
got
anything in
mixed up,
place for
but we appreciate it and
understanding the
look forward to
personality of
chatting
those
later.
people, how to build a winning connection,
Take
communication
care.
styles and preferences, sales landmines to avoid, anything like that in place? Got it. So maybe they, do some research, or how would they identify, like, hey, is this a relationship driven person? Is this an ROI driven person? What does that process look like? Yeah. Got it. Okay. And those all come through like partnerships and referrals. Okay. And what about when your sales team is meeting with those prospects for the first time? I mean, it sounds like you guys do some good research and stuff like that. But if would it be worth us, having a chat? Could I steal 15 minutes on your calendar to show you how, people are cutting down 30% of that research time, and then also increasing? Yeah, go ahead. Hmm. Yeah. Okay. And got it. Well, let me do this. Why don't I send you some information? Take a look. A lot of people are in the same boat as you, which is understandable. And it makes sense when it's like a nice to have type of tool. But we find that most teams are viewing us as a need and must to have, specifically teams that are trying to do more with less, which sounds like is the case for you. But I won't take up any more of your time today. I'll send you some information, take a look, and then you let me know if you think it's worth us having a chat sooner. Okay, awesome. Thanks, Brett. Take care. Bye bye.
Getting smoked out here.
Yeah, I mean, this one, yeah, I could have pushed a little bit, but you also got to know when to back off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You definitely got to know when you can push a little bit. Like, and a lot of that is who you're dealing with, right? If you're dealing with like a high D type personality, like you can push and challenge them a little bit more than somebody who's not. And you got to be able to read their tone and stuff like that, and identify or how or know their personality before you even call them, to know if how far you can push. So he has no budget, and things like that are going to come up a lot today. So you got to know how to navigate that for sure.
Yeah.
Just update my notes here.
What's the deficit I have? Is that a meeting or was that a maybe meeting?
That was like a send me some info, not a meeting. Yeah. Do you find most of the people you're calling like already have something in place to like what it is that you do, or more often that they like don't have anything in place at all?
I think like 65 or 70% have like a competitor in place, and 30% don't.
When do you? Yeah, where do you find you book more meetings with people who have something that are looking to replace it, or don't have something and know that they need something like what you do?
So again, this is anecdotal, but I find currently I'd have more success with someone who has a solution already in place and they just don't like it. The problem I've been running into the last 2 weeks, and it happened today, if someone doesn't have a solution in place, it's hard to justify them giving up time when they feel like they have no budget for another tool. They're like, hey, I have no money. We're not going to buy a competitor, et cetera, versus someone having a solution in place, already paying for it. They just don't like it. And they're like, hey, let's just repurpose this money into a better tool.
Yeah. All right, so we have been dialing here for about 43 minutes. So far, I've had 195 dials, 8 conversations, and 1 meeting booked. And for anybody who's hanging out or just showing up, if you have not checked out the Cold Calling podcast by MonsterConnect, go ahead and check that out. It's on every podcast platform. They drop daily content, best moments from these sessions with people like Aaron, and also other side of the conversations we drop on there pretty regularly as well, because everybody's always wanting to know what the people on the other side of the phone are saying. Still dialing over there?
Oh, yeah. Got 12 minutes to get a meeting.
Plenty of time.
Yeah.
Plenty of time.
Did you burn through your list already, or you have more?
I switched to a new list, different list. Hey, Ryan, this is Collin with Humantic. First time actually giving you a call here, but do you have like half a minute and I can tell you exactly why I decided to cold call you today? All right, well, I'll just make it quick and then you could decide if it's worth us continuing to chat. But I'm really just calling to introduce my company to you, Humantic, when I'm not calling you out of the blue like I am today. Have you ever heard of Humantic before? Got it. Well, curious, your sales team, when they're reaching out to folks, kind of like I am today for the first time, or maybe hopping on a meeting for the first time, do they have anything in place for researching those people in advance? Got it. Next question, not a trick question, but do they have anything in place for understanding the personality of those people? How to build a winning connection, communication styles and preferences, and even sales landmines to avoid. Anything like that in place today? Yeah, yeah. I'm curious. So what do they have in? Yeah, what do they have in place to understand those things about their prospects? Yeah, I mean, I'm not. I mean, surprise, surprise. That's obviously. All right. Take care. Uh, you know, sometimes people will give you that 30 seconds or whatever, but then sometimes you regret taking it because like it doesn't even matter. If they're like, yeah, go ahead, hurry up. Like it doesn't even matter what you say. You're gonna get not
Yeah.
interested no matter what. Sometimes you can't take the bait. But I thought that I could turn that one around. He said they have something in place. I I doubt it. Maybe they do, possibly. But sometimes people, it's just they're not fully listening to you. Maybe they don't understand what it is that exactly as you do, which is hard to do explain, well on a cold call, especially in 30 seconds. There's a chance that maybe they have something in place, but even if they do, we only have one competitor and they only do like 50% of what we do. So, but he was not willing to have any further conversation, at least not right now. How's it going over there?
Just cleaning up the list. Every now and then I'll spot like a company or two, and I'm like, oh, I don't do like they're already having a meeting or something. Like you just gotta clean it up before you call someone who doesn't need to be called.
Yeah, you don't want to make that mistake.
Nope, been there, done that. I'd rather not.
We all make mistakes, but you don't want to be the one making the same mistake.
Same mistake over and over again.
Yeah. Okay. Get back into it.
7 minutes.
Hey, Allison, this is Collin over at Humantic. This is actually my first time giving you a call. But do you have like half a minute and I can explain exactly why it is I'm calling you today? Not necessarily to sell you something, at least not yet. But I do see that you're the SVP of global sales there. Has that changed? Ah, okay. Well, have you landed somewhere else yet or not quite? All right. Well, why don't I do this? I'll send you a connection request on LinkedIn. We can stay connected there, and then best of luck in finding your next spot that you land. You too. Take care.
I think if you track enough of those and you're on top of them, like eventually some of those. Hey, good afternoon, Ellen. It's Aaron calling from Catalyst. How are you? We actually don't know each other yet. I was just curious if you've heard of Catalyst software before. No worries. I just got back from an airport myself. Safe travels. I'll shoot over an email. Enjoy your trip and let me know if you want to chat when you get back. Bye. Did you notice those cat-like reflexes when I made the realization that someone answered? You see that? Tweaking.
Yeah. That's you learn fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what you're saying there is like, yeah, if you track enough of those, I mean, those are good leads. I mean, if they're at the power, if they're at the power level of your ICP, meaning people who have budget or have, direct line to budget, if you nurture those a bit, most people make a lot of decisions on tools and buying new things like in that, we've all seen the data, like in the first 90 days of landing in a new place. So if you connect with them, send them a message, you're, just a half decent human, and engage with them. And then, you get that love the new celebrations feature in LinkedIn if used properly, and you track those. Then when that person lands in a new place, you might be the first tool that they implement if played well. All right, we're coming up on time. Down to the buzzer. You got 3 minutes. Can you make something happen?
Right here. There's a lot of clicking and typing going on over there. You're making me anxious, like you have some crazy 3 meetings that are about to drop in the last 60 seconds.
No, I was just taking my notes and shooting an email to that last call where he kind of gave me a bit of a hard time saying he had a solution in place. And then I was sending a connection request to the one that I just called, and I was getting clicked back in. So lots of workflows going on here in the background. That's how cold calling becomes very effective, is if you're managing all these things well, taking good notes, doing what you say you're going to do, following up when you're supposed to, all that good stuff.
100%. And it's all just habitual. Like, I think for me, to your point, like doing it right after the call is the best way to do it. Otherwise, half the stuff won't get done, and then it's sloppy.
Yeah. And then you never know. Then you're off to a meeting, and this happens, and then that happens, and then you forget. It doesn't happen. It happens. It's easy. David asking a question here. Every week, David, we're here 10 a.m. Pacific. And then also, if that's not enough, you can check out the Cold Calling podcast on all the podcast platforms. We drop the best teachable moments from awesome guests like Aaron here on the podcast regularly every day. And then we also drop the other sides of these conversations. So calls that went well, calls that didn't go well. We drop both sides of the conversation. Obviously, we remove like personal information and stuff like that, but we drop those on the podcast as well. So definitely check that out. And the Cold Calling Podcast is brought to you by MonsterConnect, which allows your already trained, already successful reps to have 10 times more conversations than they normally do in any cold calling block. So that is a wrap for today. I was able to book one meeting, got a couple of follow-ups there. Aaron, maybe you have to come back another time.
This defeat is going to haunt me for the remainder of my call blitzes for the next week.
He's gonna keep dialing as soon as we wrap here and probably book a meeting like right away. The cold calling live pressure is real. Awesome. Thank you everybody who joined us today. Appreciate all the comments, the feedback, questions, all that good stuff. Make sure you check out the Cold Calling Podcast. And if you want to have 10 times more conversations in your cold calling blocks, definitely go check out MonsterConnect and they will get you all set up. We'll see you again next week. Thanks, Aaron. Any final thoughts? Any parting words for everybody out there making cold calls?
Thanks for having me. Parting thoughts: cold calling sucks, but just do it. And if you have a good relationship with doing things that are uncomfortable, it'll open up a lot for you in your life.
Absolutely. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.